All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going behind the scenes into the real engine room of the internet. We're going to meet the master chefs who are running the kitchen, the back-end programming languages. So I want you to think about it like this. If the web is one giant restaurant, the back-end is the kitchen where all the action happens. And the language you pick? Well, that's like hiring your head chef. It defines the style, the speed, and the kind of dishes your kitchen can even make. So come on, let's meet three of the most popular chefs on the scene today.
First up, we've got our veteran chef, PHP. You know this guy. He's the pragmatic, no-nonsense character who has seen absolutely everything in the web kitchen.
And man, this quote just hits the nail on the head. PHP was literally born and raised with the web. It wasn't built for anything else. From day one, its entire reason for existing has been to build and serve up web pages as fast as humanly or, well, digitally possible. And because it's so focused, it's got some killer advantages. It is so easy to get started with, mainly because you can just write PHP code right inside your HTML files. No fuss. It has this massive ocean-sized ecosystem of tutorials, tools, and amazing frameworks like Laravel and Symfony. And because it's been around forever, pretty much every hosting company on the planet supports it right out of the box. Now look, when you've been around that long, you're going to have a few quirks, right? Because it has evolved so much over the decades, its syntax can feel a little inconsistent sometimes. And yeah, people sometimes unfairly call it an old language when the modern versions are actually incredibly fast and powerful.
Okay, moving down the line to our next station, we meet a totally different kind of personality. Python. This is our elegant and super talented master chef.
Yeah, this chef, not a one-trick pony. Python is a master of many cuisines. It's famous for its beautiful, easy-to-read recipes, or for us, its clean code. That elegance, that clarity, that's its signature style. And that's really Python's superpower. It's insane versatility. It's a general-purpose language, so the motto is basically, learn it once and use it everywhere. It's a total powerhouse for the web with frameworks like Django and Flask, but it's also the star player in data science, AI, and scripting. That clean syntax also makes it one of the best languages out there for beginners. So what's the catch? Is there a trade-off for all that flexibility? Well, yeah, a little. When you're doing really heavy, pure number crunching, it can be a tiny bit slower than some other languages. And getting it all set up on a server can sometimes take a few more steps than it does with our old friend PHP. Okay, now for our last character. And this one is a total game changer. Meet Node.js, the modern, energetic, and hyper-efficient barista. Now, this is super important. You gotta get this. Node.js is not a new language. It's what we call a runtime environment. And it does something revolutionary. It lets JavaScript, the language of your web browser, run in the kitchen on the server. And this barista is an absolute master of multitasking. But how does it pull this off? It's not just about working fast, it's about working smart. See, this barista has a secret weapon, a technique that completely changes the workflow in the kitchen. Okay, stick with me here, because this is the key to everything. There are basically two ways to handle orders in our web kitchen. There's the traditional way, which is synchronous, and then there's the modern way, the asynchronous way. So the traditional chef, like PHP and Python, usually works synchronously. They take an order, they walk over to the stove, they cook the entire meal from start to finish, they serve it, and only then do they even look at the next person in line. If a dish takes 10 minutes to cook, everyone else just waits. It's one thing at a time. Now compare that to our barista, who works asynchronously. They take an order for a latte and start the espresso machine. But here's the magic. They don't just stand there and wait. Nope. They immediately turn around and take the next customer's order. They might froth some milk for another order. Then, when the espresso machine beeps, that's the notification, they go back and finish the first drink. The key is, the barista is never, ever idle. So that whole multitasking thing, that's the superpower of Node.js. It's perfect for apps with a lot of waiting around. Think chat apps, streaming video, or APIs that have to go fetch data from somewhere else. It also means you can use JavaScript for everything, front-end and back-end. And because it uses resources so efficiently, it's super fast and lightweight. But, and this is a huge but, this magic has a kryptonite. This model is terrible for tasks that need intense, nonstop brain power, what we call CPU-bound tasks. A really heavy job like processing a video file would bring the barista to a grinding halt. It blocks everything and they can't take any more orders until that one heavy task is done. So, we've met the pragmatic veteran, the versatile master, and the multitasking barista. Which leads us to the million-dollar question, right? Who do you hire for your kitchen? And the honest answer is, there's no single best one. It's not a competition. The best chef is all about what kind of digital meal you're trying to create. So let's just break it down with this final cheat sheet. If you're building a traditional website or a content management system like WordPress, the veteran PHP is an absolutely fantastic choice. Simple, fast, gets the job done. But if your project needs a big brain for complex logic, data science, or AI, you hire the master, Python, no question. And finally, if you're building a real-time app like a chat service or a streaming platform, you bring in the Barista, Node.js, for its incredible multitasking skills. So you've hired your chef. Awesome. But even the best chef is useless without a well-stocked pantry to store all the ingredients, the data. The real question is, how should you organize that pantry? Do you want everything in neatly labeled jars? Or do you want flexible, bulk bins you can just throw things into? Well, that's a whole other explainer.